What up, bros? I actually don't like reading my comments because I do get a bit of hate, but I also get a lot of love. So we're only responding to the good questions. All right, let's go. So someone said, as an introvert, I never feel comfortable watching someone else being an extrovert. Keep up the good work, bro. I actually think this is what separates me from most people is I like to show myself with my fumbles and fails. And most, I think most like Riz guys, people who do like approach content don't show that because I get it. It's actually probably better marketing not to show it. You want to seem perfect, but almost every guy I know has bad days. And I've found myself whenever I watch like Tristan Social's content or just Riz content in general, I even get insecure. Someone who approaches all the time, me, I get insecure too because it kind of feels weird. You know, you watch someone else's content, they seem perfect and you're just in your bed alone. You're just thinking like, fuck, I could never do that. In reality, it's always easier when you just start. And when you actually get good at it, you actually do it, you realize that, what the fuck, this isn't like that hard. I just had to get out of my head, really. So it seems impossible till you do it. Someone says, I thought you were Aiden Ross. That's crazy. Okay. I've followed other coaches and taken courses. The key is being a good guy, not a player. Once you have the confidence, just be a good guy. You know what? I agree with this very much so. The key to me is having like a really cool lifestyle set up, in my opinion. I'm starting to shift my focus on like, before it was just like, let's try to get laid as much as possible. But now I'm like, you know what? I want to create genuine experiences for people. I want to take them on adventures. I want to travel with them. And I found that sex without like the shared experiences and going on adventures and having fun with that person in different areas of life outside of the bedroom is actually a lot less fulfilling. Now, I've had some great sexual experiences like where we only had fun in the bedroom. That was fine. That was fun. But I found without like going on a hike or going on some romantic adventure, at least for me, it's just not as fulfilling. So someone said, if you had lighter skin with blue eyes, 100 girls would have said yes. Maybe. I think it may give you an edge in a place like Asia, but I don't like to think like that. I don't like to think, I just don't like this comment. And it didn't even seem like it was like out of ill intent, but I don't like to focus on those things, you know? I don't like to focus on what I can't control. I mean, I could wear blue contacts and dye my hair, but then it would kind of look fake, you know? So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Someone said, literally, if you just treat girls like they're normal people, you'll start to realize what they like and don't like. Absolutely true. One good exercise you can do is just ask a girl about dating. Like, hey, what is it like dating for a girl? Like, what are the struggles? What do you hate when guys do, you know, when they approach you, or what do you hate about dating guys for the first few dates? What's something that you don't like, you can't stand? You'll learn a lot that way. This is a funny one. Oh, this guy, listen, he says the harsh reality is if you're not super attractive, none of the hot women will want you because you're a loser. I think this guy's neglecting the fact that social confidence and charisma, like learning how to walk up, approach, learning how to not stutter your words, stammer, learning how to project your voice, feel safe in your environment. All that is a skill as well. So yeah, I agree. Like you should absolutely be focusing on your best version of yourself, making money, hitting the gym, but that won't get you girls. It'll indirectly help you, but he is absolutely wrong in the fact that he thinks it's just about money and looks. It is not. It is absolutely about having confidence. And the only way to build confidence is to go through social pressure. Now, you might actually learn a lot building a business, I will say, because you might have to do a lot of things that involve hiring people, dealing with people, but a business will stress you out to the point where you kind of lose a lot of your swagger and you lose that fun side of yourself. So while I do believe this guy had the right intentions by writing this comment, I don't think he's right at all. I think he's genuinely misguided and jaded. Now, are there some people with really good upbringings who have natural confidence? Yes, but they built that throughout their childhood. For certain people, they need to stop approaching so much and they need to work on their business. Absolutely. But to neglect learning skills with women is just crazy to me. Anyways. All right, I got a comment here. Could you make a video on how to train yourself to approach someone? I know the short and most possible logical solution, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so how would I train myself? It's just like the gym. Set a number, reps. The problem is your mind, when you go out, it's going to be hard. You'll play tricks on yourself and you won't actually follow through with your approaches sometimes. because it's hard. So what I would say is lower the bar of what you consider an approach to be. I even had days where I went out and I would just give out like 100 compliments. And then I had days where I'd go out and I'd try to have 10 small conversations. Then I have days where I get out where I want to flirt with 10 different girls and try to like get their number. And even if I get rejected, like a rejection challenge. So what I would say is reps. That's how you train yourself. And then you want to consistently and constantly modify the reps to be a little bit harder every single time, And then you start to get good at it. And that is pretty much it. Aside from that, I would say find a wingman and find someone who's better than you and do it with them, because they will really, like, I noticed that when you go out with someone who's better than you, you can really see what's possible, and then you start to mimic what they do, and you're like, God damn, I need to get to his level. So that's another way. What's up, guys? All right, so guys, the number one comment I get, step 1, be handsome. Thank you, sir. Step 2, be tall. Well, I'm 5'10". Thank you anyways. Saved y'all 20 minutes of life. I actually feel bad. Like, genuinely, I feel bad for the guys that leave these comments, because I know that they're not going to ever really become the version of themselves that they're supposed to be. So you can either look at solutions, which is maximize all areas of your confidence. There's like, Dan Bilzerian had a course recently. There's like something like 10 different attraction triggers. I just heard about it from a friend. And there's leader of men. There's looks, which is one of them. There's money, which is one of them, which you can control. But money utilized in the right way, not just having money, but like, how did you make the money? And then what do you do with that money? Then there's confidence, just like the way you project your voice, the way you walk into a room. There's pre-selection, having a bunch of girls around you. There's status from other men, respect from other men, like when they see that other men respect you in that environment. That's a very big one. There's humor, being funny. I can't think of the other ones, but there's so many things you can work on that you actually need to work on. Oh, there's the huge one, that reading social cues. Listen, I have been coaching enough to meet a lot of guys who are like, bro, it's just easy for you because you have good looks. And I'm like, bro, trust me, just go out with me one day and just see how much I get rejected. And you'll see how much my good looks don't save me from not socially calibrating enough, for not being confident enough, for not reading the room enough. Like, I've seen ugly guys crush it. I've seen good looking guys crush it. And I've seen good looking guys fail as well. So the problem with this comment, and I'm only going to like, go over this one time. And the problem with this comment is, this is a rationalization. This is a coping mechanism. This is me saying, hey, I'm not handsome or tall. And the funny thing is, if you just let me look at this guy, most of the times, bro, this guy looks like he has a square cut jaw. He looks like a handsome guy. Like, most of the time, these same guys who comment that aren't even that bad looking. They're just saying that as a coping mechanism because they don't want to take action. So it's easier to cope than it is to say, okay, well, if this guy can do it, I can do it. So you have two choices, two effective binary choices. Choice A, you see what someone does and you say, that's fucking awesome. I want to do that as well. I'm going to do that. Or choice B, you see what someone does and you say, well, it's because he's like this and I'm not that way and that's just not me. And then you continue to eat kebabs at home while 69ing. Kebab muncher 69. But regardless, I respect your comment and it is what it is. Are you guys sexpats or something? Just asking. Interesting question. I guess I'll answer it. When I was in I'm actually into Asian girls and all. So when Thailand and Bali, I was just hitting up the tourists. That being said, I did meet a Japanese Brazilian girl the other day. Oh my God, I fell in love. So maybe it's just a culture thing because I am half Asian. Maybe I'm just not into the Asian culture, like dating wise, you know? Anyways, that is a whole nother that's a whole nother story. Am I a sexpat? No, I would say I'm not a sexpat. But do I like women from other cultures outside of America? Absolutely. I really like Eastern European chicks. They're super feminine. They actually respect men a little bit more, I think. I actually like German girls a lot too, bro. German girls. Italian girls really do it for me as well. I don't know. I don't really like typical American girls. It's just not my thing. I don't know what it is. I really want to go to South America. Is it easier out there? I think so. I think it is. I think the girls are more receptive. I think they're more feminine. And why not? Like, if it works out, it works out. Like, if my money's going farther and the women are nicer, why wouldn't I? It just makes sense to me. It just seems like a logical move. Can I get girls in America? Yeah, my first 2 girlfriends were American. Did I enjoy it as much? They were good. My second girlfriend was Colombian American, born in Miami. She was amazing, but she still had some of that Colombian roots. So yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe I am. I don't know. Shit. I like sex. Bro, I'm not meaning to like laugh at you, but your name is Cock Carousel, and this is just funny. That sounds depressing. I don't know. We have a different worldview, I guess. That's fucking ridiculous. Fucking hell. This is interesting. Another one. Do it without filming and see what happens. False accusations and pepper sprayed. Well, I've been doing a challenge where I do around 50 to 100 approaches per day. Haven't gotten pepper sprayed yet. I have had plenty of rejections. I think what I would say is what I've noticed with beginners and people, especially like some of you guys are really big and threatening. Like you don't even realize it. Like some of you guys look scary. And I see it with my coaching clients. You just don't calibrate. If you really learn to calibrate, I do something called mirroring. You mirror the girl's energy. If she takes a step back, you take a step back. I'm constantly calibrating. Micro-calibration. I'll say it one more time. Micro-calibration. That's the main thing I fix in beginners. It's like, bro, like you didn't see she felt uncomfortable there. Take a step back, say sorry, you're good. If your body language you unconsciously communicate more than you know. Words are just verbal communication. All of the other communication, the unconscious communication, you need to always be calibrating and seeing if the girl feels safe. And I do that. I'm very good at that. That's actually one of my superpowers, which is probably why I'm so comfortable making this channel, because I just know if as soon as a girl feels uncomfortable, I back the fuck up immediately. I'm just really good at reading social cues, or I'm good at reading people, and if they're nervous, I can feel their energy more, right? I don't know if I'm sounding weird. Anyways. With conversation, it's probably largely because you're just taking too seriously. You're thinking about it like, what do I say? How will she react? Has to go perfectly. What if she reacts negatively? I have to make this an outcome. You're taking this too seriously. So this guy says, just stop taking conversations too seriously. And that actually makes it a lot better. I actually agree with that to a certain degree. Like, very often, you're just trying too hard and it shows. But I think this is a nuanced point. So what I would say, there's 5 principles of approaching. I've learned this from my mentor. Freedom from outcome, clarity of intent, entitlement, self-amusement, and congruence, which is like authenticity. And what he's talking about is freedom from outcome. You need to have freedom from outcome. It's absolutely important. It holds everything together, because if you have clear intent, but you're not free from outcome, you become needy, right? If you're entitled, but you're not free from outcome, you become creepy. So you need to have everything. So this is just one piece of the puzzle, and I completely agree. You're having a hard time keeping the interest of a girl. Well, I have 3. I don't know you, so it's very, very hard for me to answer that. If I was around you and I spent time with you, I'd be able to answer it, but I'm not. 3 things, because you're able to get their interest. So you obviously have some confidence, but 3 things that come to mind. You might just not have an interesting enough life. I found that anytime I was living like a really fun, abundant life, like social circle, purpose, cool job, really close friend group, other dating options, like a fun lifestyle, going on adventures, all these things, I wouldn't even care about the girl sticking around. I had too much fun. That also brings me to another thing. It sounds like you're in scarcity, so you're needy. So you need to like get into abundance first, and then when you're in abundance, girls will want to stick around. And then the third thing, actually just making this up the top of my head, so I can't think of the third thing right now. But I would say that. I'm just thinking back on my own life, because it's easy. Listen, we all been there. What I would say is create an ecosystem of positive emotions around you. You want to create a lifestyle that makes you very, very, very happy. And then from there, you can bring girls into that lifestyle. You want the framing of this to be raw. Like my mindset and mind frame when a girl rejects me, I actually had a girl reject me recently. It's like, she didn't get to see how cool I am. It's a shame. She's missing out on so much fun. All right. Actually, in Thailand, I had a pretty good life setup. I would take girls to like waterfalls. I had so many options. It was great. Just wanted to share this comment because shout out to Brazil and the little comment he's mentioning is anytime your friend is struggling to approach and he's hesitating, just literally ask him this question. Like, hey, bro, are you gay? You gay? Like, are you gay? Gonna approach? Are you gay? What, are you gay? And I guarantee you he'll probably go and say hi. Is Nashville one of the best cities for night game, or Austin, Texas better? I have not really gamed in. I've gamed in Texas like 1 or 2 nights on a quick trip, and I really didn't do it that big. I found that Austin had some decent spots. It was decent, but it was a little bit ratchet and ghetto for my taste. But it had some decent spots. Definitely had some hot girls. I think both are good. But I will vouch for Nashville. Oh my God. Really great for night game, especially if you like Southern girls. Oh my God, crazy. But it brings in people, a lot of girls, bachelorette parties from Chicago and New York. Crazy place to game. Crazy place to game. And if you ever go there, send me a message on Instagram. I can link you up with some wingmen. Wow, someone from Iceland? Fucking what? Hi, Iceland. That's crazy. All right, Shutting 88 has a very interesting take, and I respect this take, and I respect it a lot because I see where he's coming from. I see what he's saying, and a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, "Bro, what's your approach batting average? Oh, how much percentage of what's your percentage to pool? What's your percent?" And I know guys. I mean, actually, I don't really know guys. I've just heard of guys and read articles, and I know of guys who count it and they write down how many approaches and how many dates and how many lays and all this. I guess we're just in it for different reasons. I'm not in it just to get laid. I actually love talking to people, genuinely. So, I guess the only thing I disagree with is it shouldn't be doing approaches for doing more approaches. I disagree. I love how approaching gets me out of my head. Some days I go out and I'm like, I don't even care about getting a girl. And I think if I personally, just in my personal experience, so there can be different experiences of this. In my personal experience, if I got too caught up in getting the girl, I might end up with girls I'm not even supposed to be with, and I might end up not enjoying the process as much. So there is this debate, results-oriented process versus enjoying the process. I think it needs to have both. Because I will say, and this is me self-reflecting, I have stagnated and not grown a lot because I'm not self-analyzing and modifying and improving on my approach. I could be a little bit more technical. That's true. I'm more mindset. I'm more mindset oriented. Anyways, it's a good comment. I respect it. I do disagree though. You can approach 1,000 girls and get their number. We know you're not smashing any of them. Laugh my ass off. Okay, bro. Okay, man. Sounds good. I'm not smashing any of them. No. I just get the number and send them on the way. That's great. What the fuck? Like, what? Why? Why do you think that? So, I think there's a saying my mentor said, the game isn't about just getting girls. Like, when I say the game, I just mean the art of getting better with women and becoming more confident. It's not about getting girls, but it's about who you become in the process. So even if there was some secret way to hijack the process and just get the girls, it's like playing a video game using cheat codes. Have you ever done that, like back in the day in the PC games? Anytime you do that, you find the cheat codes or you hack the game. Within 1 hour playing the game, you get bored because you're like, this is fucking boring because there's just no challenge to it. So I actually like the challenge, and I think the getting the girl at the end is like the cherry on top of who you become. So it's just what I think. This is a very interesting one. The problem is modern women are so dull and narcissistic to where it's not fun, and approaching most of them, that's what makes it difficult. That's an interesting one, man. And I there's like two parts of me. One part of me is like, yeah, it's so fucking true. Some of them are so like narcissistic and dull, and they're just all on their phones and shallow. But then another part of me is like, dude, women are the most beautiful things in the world. Like the amount of light and energy they can bring in your life. And I think that's both are true. I think there are genuine, like, bro, try to live a life without women. You're not ever going to be happy as a man. You need women. In my opinion, like having a really good feminine girl is fucking amazing. I do think that maybe it has become a bit more competitive, and that maybe in certain places, some parts of the world, it could be harder and there are less quality girls. I think that. I could see that. That's true. So I'm curious where you live, bro. I'm curious where you live. I'm curious. But what I would say is you got to always self-analyze. You got to always self-analyze. Are they just being dull and narcissistic? Are they rejecting you and you haven't worked on yourself? Because very often that's what happens. Like, I'll go out to approach and I'll get jaded. I think this is like jaded, where you're like, man, everyone's so fucking mean and annoying, and why can't anyone have a good conversation? And there's really, in a way, there's a flaw in my communication that I need to work on. So I like to self-analyze before I judge everyone else. It's usually the case, and I've learned this coaching. A lot of guys are blind to they have blind spots. And very often you have some blind spots that you're just not seeing. So what I would say is, don't get discouraged so quickly and keep on going. This is actually a fair point. I made a point in this video where if you want to like get a lot of results, just approach in the same places that are high volume every day, because you'll start to get comfortable with that environment. And that is true. But then this guy said you should approach in new places so you condition yourself to approach anywhere. It's kind of like you get core confidence instead of situational confidence. And I actually agree with that. And that is very true. Good point, sir. I agree with that. So what I would say is, and I see this a lot with coaching, is they're struggling to hold a conversation with a baddie, and they can't even hold a conversation with me. Like, I'll be coaching them and I'm like, bro, you can't even vibe with me, let alone a baddie. With the baddie, you get nervous. With me, you shouldn't even be nervous. And we'll be talking and hanging out, and like, you're having trouble vibing with regular ass people. So learn how to vibe with people in general first, and then go to the baddie. I think you should have 100 conversations per week. We just go out and just start talking to people as much as you can. And I got to experience this naturally through bartending, where you just basically get a conveyor belt of people coming to your bar and talking to you, and you really get really good at small talk. So typically I find that there's a lot of fear going on. There's a lot of self-limiting beliefs. There's a lot of negative energy that you have in your head. So that's causing you to not be able to talk confidently to women, and your mind is going blank because you're self-judging and they might be rejected. There's all these things. There's so many factors going on. So lower the bar and start talking to anyone in general. If you genuinely are struggling to have a conversation with a hot girl, dude, make sure that you're able to do that with anyone and genuinely like build rapport with everyone. That's what I would say to that. Alrighty guys, thank you for tuning in. Gonna do these every month. I love doing these. A lot of fun. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm currently in Europe. Also, if you need help, if you want to do a boot camp or you want some one-on-one coaching where I help you with your dating life, your confidence, fill out the form. I'll hit you up. I'll literally give you some free game. All you got to do is fill out the form. See you in the next one. Peace.